Welcome, I'm Ukeme Isaac from Ultratech Systems. In this lesson, we're going to see how we can build a chart in SPSS. So this is going to be introducing you to the chart builder in SPSS, and this particular lesson we're going to be focusing on the bar chart. So just like what you've seen, I have here on my screen, on my output window, I have a bar chart here, and actually these are different types of bar charts, and in our previous lesson, we actually saw when we were dealing with descriptive statistics how we were able to add a chart, a bar chart, a pie chart, and a histogram. But in this way, we're just going to see how we can build the chart. So I have here my data set here where I have about 1,000, more than 1,000 respondents here. And I have the sex, I have a whole lot of variables here, but nominal, ordinal, and I have just my scale variables, just like what you will see here. Alright, so to build a chart, we'll just go to graphs. From graphs, we click on the chart builder. So you click graphs. From graphs, you click on chart builder, and it's going to ask you that before you use this dialog box, measurement level should be set properly for each variable in your chart and all of that. So you just click OK, or you just go define your variable properties. So here I'm going to reset because I already added a bar chart. I'm going to reset. Now here you have different kinds of charts here to choose from, whether from the favorites. If you have actually added your favorites, you can have it here. Then your bar chart, the line charts, the area chart, the pie and the polar charts. We have the scatter plot, the dots, the histogram, the high and low, like the stock chart. We have like stock chart in Excel, and we have the one we call box and whiskers in Excel. We have the dual axis. This is what we call the combo chart in Excel. So here we'll just have the variables here. So this is where you have the list of all your variables, and here I'm just going to choose my bar chart. So you have basic elements. You can choose your basic element here. We're going to be talking about this in our next lesson, where we'll just discuss to touch some of them. Now we click on the bar here. Under the bar, I want it to, and I have different categories of bar charts, like different types of bar chart. I have the simple bar chart, the clustered bar chart, and I have the stacked bar chart. So I'm going to start with the simple chart. So I'll just click and drag. You just click and drag it here. So this is where you click and drag the chart here. From here now, you have to be able to specify the variables, the axis for your chart, like the X and the Y axis, and as well as the filter if you so deem it fit or is necessary. So from here, under the variables here, let me just say I want to compare based on let me work with highest qualification. So I can just click and drag my highest qualification being a nominal variable here to this point, or can I just take it off? Let me try ethnicity. So let me start with it. I have ethnicity here. So because of the data area, I don't have time to edit this chart here. We're going to look at that in the next lesson. So what do? I have to be able to define my X and my Y axis. So I'll just click here and drag to put it at this point. Now under my count, it has to be, I'm looking at my scale variable. So I could be looking at different options here. This one is saying how satisfied are you with life nowadays. This one is to what extent feel things you do in your life and all of that. So I have different questions here, and they are all variables. How happy did you feel yesterday? Or how satisfied are you with your personal relationships? So if I click here now, I can just click and drag this, and you will see what I have here. So I've been able to define both my X and my Y axis here. Then I will just go ahead and click OK. When I go ahead and click OK, you will see our charts here on the output window. So you see I have here, we're basically looking at the mean overall of how satisfied different respondents from each of these geopolitical zones, or ethnic groups, are satisfied with their personal relationships. We have that the Yorubas, like I said yesterday in our previous lesson, this is the dummy data. It doesn't represent that of any ethnicity or geopolitical zone we're using for the purpose of learning. So you would see what I have here: personal relationships, Igbo, follows, and then houses, as you can see. From then you see others and all of that. So Let's go ahead and do that again. Rather than going back to analyze or graphs and click on chart builder, this is what we call the dialog box recall, or the dialogues recall. If we click here now, we're going to see, beg your pardon, we can be able to recall recent dialog box. So you click here now, we recall recent dialog box that we've used. So we just go ahead and click OK again. Now that one we saw how we can do for a single a simple chart, bar chart. So let me reset here. I'm going to look at the stack bar chart, where I can, now the clustered, I beg your pardon, the clustered bar chart, where I can add multiple variables. So I'm going to drag this down here. Now I can see for that ethnicity, let's just go ahead and work with that. I'll drag this, you know, onto my, I drag that point there as my nominal variable. So I'm going to just go ahead and then see, maybe I'm going to be looking at how anxious do you feel, or let me see, how satisfied are you with your children well-being. So I can drag this and drop here. Now just like I have here, I can add multiple variables to it. So let's assume I'm going to also say, how satisfied are you with the amount of time you have to do things, or was this again, how satisfied are you with the area you live. So I can drag, if you drag here, it's going to replace this, but when you drag it up here, you'll find this plus here. So you leave it at this plus and then you click OK. So I have them here. I can say add more. So let me see other options. How satisfied are you with your financial situation? I can just click and drag, you know. So you always drag it up, don't drag it down, it will replace. But if you drag it up, it will add. So from here now, I will click OK. So when I click OK, we now scroll down. So you can see I've been able to build a bar chart that has to do with, or looking at different options here. We're looking at a clustered bar, you know, mean of overall, how satisfied are you with the well-being of your children, how satisfied are you with the area where you live in, you know, how satisfied are you with your financial situation. So all of these are just different bar charts. In our subsequent lessons, I'm going to see we're going to see how we deal with the chart properties, how we can just edit the bar chart, and how we can change, you know, different properties and elements for the chart. But I like you to just take our time. You have that, there I said, do practice on your own and see how you can build a bar chart for your data set using different variables. And do not forget that you have to work with the nominal or the ordinal and the scale variables. So see you in the next lesson.